We could have rebuilt American schools and roads and bridges. We could have made historic investments in alternative energy to create millions of American jobs. We could have headed off $4 a gallon gas and begun to end the tyranny of oil in our time. Instead, the president decided to spend our money on tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy and a war in Iraq that has already lasted longer than World War II. And Senator McCain has fully embraced these Bush policies.
One of the great indictments that I have of George Bush is that he's injected a strain of fatalism into our country's bloodstream. We can't solve the energy and global warming crisis. That'll wreck the economy. Well, the fact is, if we don't, we are wrecking our economy. What do you think $100 a barrel oil means to our economy?
Since this administration took over in the executive branch, we are now paying more than double for gas than when President Bush first took office.
During the past 8 years, our energy policy has been directed by the two oil men in the White House. Their failed policy has increased our dependence on foreign oil, damaged our economy, and left consumers paying record prices at the pump.
What we are seeing is, a government run for the oil company.
Drivers are paying a heavy price for the Bush administration's failure to enact a comprehensive energy strategy. This Congress, under the Democratic leadership, is working to make up for years of inaction, taking America in a new direction that helps bring down the cost of gas.
Gas prices have more than doubled since George Bush became our president.
In every corner of our country, we're paying record gas prices. When prices first began to rise, it was a hassle. Then it became a burden. Now, it's a crisis for every American family. This week, Democrats offered a new plan, a clean break from the failed Bush policies that were literally written by the big oil companies.
On President Bush's watch, American families are earning less today than they did 8 years ago, and that's the truth. Yet paying more than ever for everyday necessities like gasoline.
In the first days of his presidency, President Bush put Vice President Cheney in charge of a secret energy task force. They invited the top oil company executives into the White House and told them to bring along their wish lists. It's really no surprise what happened next. With two oil men in the White House, gas prices have nearly tripled and oil company profits are up over 300%.
For 8 years, two oil men in the White House have crafted this country's energy policy. And for 8 years, Big Oil has raked in unprecedented profits. Barack Obama summed up our sentiment on the Bush-McCain policy in one word: enough.
At a time when our economy is in turmoil and wages are stagnant, hardworking families are struggling to pay rising costs, and few costs obviously are rising faster than the ones people pay at the pump. When George Bush asked Dick Cheney to come up with our energy policy a few years ago, he met with the environmental groups once, he met with the renewable energy groups once, he met with the oil and gas companies 40 times. And so it's not surprising then that the laws that have come out of Washington have been good for the oil companies, not so good for consumers.
And it rejects Democratic proposals to crack down on oil company price gouging, even though Big Oil has reaped record profits while gas prices have shot through the roof. These are the burdens middle-class families will bear as a result of the president's budget.
The price of oil is at the doorstep. $4 plus per gallon for oil is attributed to two oil men in the White House.
I'll bet you wince when you have to fill up the family car at the gas station, especially knowing that a lot of that money is going straight to countries that don't like us very much. That's why we Democrats are fighting for real energy independence, not more of President Bush's big subsidies for big oil.